Hari Om. On this occasion of Knowledge Festival, which we are celebrating on the occasion of Mahashivratri, I welcome you all again on the second day on which we will be discussing about Gorakh Nath. Yesterday we discussed about Patanjali. In the yogic tradition, Gorakh Nath, or without Gorakh Nath, there won't be complete description or completion of yogic tradition. Gorakh Nath is one of the most important blocks of the yogic tradition. आवाज आ रही है? इसको कुछ कर सकते हैं? Most important blocks. When it comes to the historical aspect of life of Gorakh Nath, which year or which century he was alive, or he practiced yoga, or he preached yoga, there are conflicting views about it. And as I noted yesterday, that I would prefer not to go into such details. Those actually won't matter when the subject matter of the discussion, which is yoga, is concerned. Which year he was, how long he lived, what tradition he followed, etc., etc., matters less, because the message which he gave, that's very important. That's more important. There is a tradition called Nath Panth in yoga. And I believe this Nath Panth has kept the tradition of yoga alive. They are the committed soldiers of army of yoga. And it's a long history since when they are into it. As far as the Puranic version of Nath Panth goes, the first Nath is Adinath, Shiva himself. And the story goes like this: Shiva, who is considered as the first yogi, he was sharing the secrets of yoga with Parvati. And a fish in the pond alongside, he was listening all these secrets, and he got this knowledge from Shiva directly, who, because of his commitment to know about yoga, Shiva was very impressed, and he blessed him to get birth in a human body, and he was named as Machindranath or Matsyendranath. Matsya means fish. So the tradition goes from Shiva, and Matsyendranath is the first guru of this yogic tradition after Shiva. Gorakh Nath is considered as his direct disciple. So the tradition goes like Shiva, Matsyendranath and Gorakh Nath. Patanjali is known for his clues, sutras. He has, as we discussed yesterday, he doesn't give you spoon feeding. He gives you a clue and then you have to interpret it. While Gorakh Nath is quite different. He does spoon feeding. He gives you direct message. You have to live like this. These are the do's and don'ts of the yogic tradition. Do this, don't do this, etc., etc. The reason for this is he is master of one tradition. He is leading the army of yogis. He is leading the fleet of yogis, group of yogis. And when you do so, then the managerial aspect of it, which is in the form of this list of do's and don'ts, it comes in picture. And that's why Gorakh Nath gives you a very clear message through his every single writing, which is compiled in various scriptures. One of those is Gorakh Bani. Another important scripture through which we get knowledge about Gorakh Nath is Goraksha Sanhita, which is in Sanskrit. Guru of Gorakh Nath, that is Machendra Nath, when he gave secrets of yoga, he imparted this knowledge with his disciples. It's a vast knowledge, and when this information is not rightly followed or practiced, then rather than making one knowledgeable, it confuses. Gorakh Nath realized it, and out of whatever messages were given by his guru Matsyendranath, Nath, he shortlisted 200 shlok or stanzas or couplets from it, and that is called as Goraksha Sanhita. So Patanjali gives you knowledge of yoga in 196 sutras, and Gorakshanath gives you or imparts the philosophy of yoga with 200 shlok stanzas. That is Goraksha Sanhita. Goraksha Sanhita is action part of yoga. Patanjali's Yoga Sutra is more philosophy. Of course, there is action component also. It's complete. But Goraksha Sanhita is more about action of yoga. How to lead life of a yogi. So Goraksha Sanhita is about that. It's a ready reckoner for a yogi. And in that, easiness of following yogic life can be seen everywhere in whatever is preached by Gorakh Nath. In Shabdi, which is compilation of Gorakh Nath's preachings in local dialect, which is called as Shabdi. Shabdi, that is Shabdi. Shabdi means words. He says, Ajapa jape shuni mana dhare. It's simple. What you have to do is Ajapa jape. as you breathe constantly. So keep on remembering God with every single breath, and that itself is yogic practice. You don't have to do anything more than that, above than that. So just keep on remembering God with every single breath. That itself is a yogic practice. Ajapa ajape shuni manadhare. And merge yourself, your mind, into that ultimate silence. As simple as that. This is Gorakh Nath. In the tradition of saints in India, my friends from India, they know the simplest or the best or the most loved one is Kabir. Why so? Because his messages are very clear, straightforward and simple. Kabir is from Gorakh tradition. So this tradition of Nirgun, worshipping the divine, attributeless form of divine, formless form of divine, that is called as Nirgun. And Gorakh Nath is one of the most important torch bearers of this tradition. And as I said, his messages are very simple, straightforward and clear. Ajapa ajape shuni manadhare. Simple. Or he says that Sabadahi kunchi sabadahi tala. Shabad means shabd. Kunchi means lock. Kunchi means key. Tala means lock. So he says that the word itself is the lock and word itself is the key. Which word is it? This word is Om. So for a confused practitioner of spirituality, he says that you are confused, your thoughts are locked, you want to open that? Okay. The key is Om. So just do the japa of Om. Just keep on reciting, chanting Om. And through that, you will reach the state of emancipation, enlightenment, whatever, liberation, salvation. Sabadahi kunchi, sabadahi tala. Patanjali says, Tasya vachaka pranava. The 27th sutra of Samadhi Pad in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, it says, Tasya vachakaha pranava. The form of Ishwar, God, the best way is explained through Om. So Om is God, Patanjali says. And Gorakh Nath, with this example of lock and key, he explains that when you feel blocked, when you feel the obstacle in your spiritual journey, then the obstacle itself is Om, that is not knowing of it. You don't know that Om has this power of making you meet God, visualize God, experience God. And the key is Om itself. So not knowing Om can be done away with by knowing Om. How beautiful it is. This is Gorakh Nath. So simple. He doesn't complicate things. And he doesn't dilute the message also. As I said, Gorakh Nath gives clear messages. Gorakh Nath does spoon feeding. He teaches you how to lead yogic life. So I will just give you some examples through the couplets itself so that we understand how clear he is in his messages. अजपा जपे सुनि मन धरे पांचों इंद्रि निग्रह करे ब्रह्म अग्नि में हो में काया तास महादेव बंदे पाया धन जीवन की करे न आस चित्त न राशे कामिनी पास नाद बिंद जाके घटी जरे ताकी सेवा पार्वती करे. How beautiful this is. we are trying to see the God, meet the God, experience the God, the divine. And Gorakh Nath is talking of God serving you as a servant. So what a powerful message he gives you, that even the God will be your servant. And how can you do that? You do it with ajapa ajape shuni manadhare. Keep on remembering God with every single breath. Ajapa ajap is chanting or remembering the mantra, the God, with every single breath, without counting it distinctly. Unknowingly, you are doing it. That is ajapa ajap. So ajapa ajape shuni manadhare. Pancho indri nigraha kare. So put restraint on your desires, which you do through all your five karmendriyas, the parts of body or parts of action of our body. So control those. Controlling those and remembering and reciting God's name with every single breath is the powerful tool. And when you do that, then Lord Shiva himself will be at your feet. Dhana जीवन की करे नास चित्तन राशे कामिनी पास. Don't be too desirous of material things, for money, for property, for all that is material. Don't be too desirous of sexual life. And naad bind jaake ghati jare. This is the technique. In the Gorakh tradition, you will find that everywhere the word which is used for human body is ghat. Ghat means an earthen pot, and that is human body. That is the symbolism which is used in preachings of Gorakh Nath. And he says that Nadabinda Ghatijare means in this body you are not wasting your energy, vital energy. And how do you do that? By following the celibacy. So you remain celibate, and inner voice of Om, it's constantly going on. Ajapa jape. So you are constantly chanting inside. So that sound which is constantly inside your body, that along with the power of celibacy, that leads you to the experience of divine. And it's not only the experience of divine. He says that taki seva parvati kare. Goddess Parvati herself will be at his feet. So she will be his servant. That's the power. That's the power of ajapa jape, reciting Om constantly without counting it distinctly, without knowing, unknowingly. It's going on and on and on. That is ajapa jape. So this is the style Gorakh Nath uses. It's very simple yet powerful, and everything is covered. In these two couplets, he has given you the key, the technique, that God becomes your servant. This is Gorakh Nath. This is the tradition, powerful tradition, which is going on for centuries, for ages. And the same thing he does in Goraksha Sanhita, that is Hansa Mantra. Ajapajap is also called as Hansa Mantra. And this Hansa Mantra is nothing but when we breathe, with every single breath, when we throw the air out, we get the noise of ha, and when we breathe in, we get the noise of sa. So this constant sound of ha and sa forms the mantra Hansa. This is called Hansa mantra. So this constant breathing itself is mantra. So this ajapa jape is constant breathing used as a tool, as a mantra. And in Goraksha Samhita he says, Hakarena bahiryati sakarena vishet punaha Hansa hanse matyu mantram jivo japati sarvada. This is Hansa mantra. The constant breathing itself is Hansa mantra. So the simple technique which Gorakh Nath gives is go on remembering God with every single breath, and God is your servant. Clear, simple, and with less and less words. This is beauty of Gorakh Nath. He gives you a direct message upfront. Now I'm going to share with you some more beautiful couplets which I think I should share with you. He says that Nath kahe तुम सुनहु रे अवधू दृढ़ करी राशहु चिया काम क्रोध अहंकार निबारो तौ सबे दिसंतर काया. Now this journey, yogic journey, or the yogic practice is always referred as a journey. This is the journey from ignorance or illusion to knowledge. At every step, we go on gaining knowledge through Guru, through the experiences of our life. So in this journey, yogi who is following this journey, who is a traveler of this journey, he doesn't have a house. It itself means that he is a traveler. He is not stagnant. He is not living at one place. His thoughts are not living at one place. His state of being is not stagnant. He is evolving. So this process of, or this yogic journey, is a constant evolution. So it's a journey. So in this couplet he says, Didakari rasha huchiya kama krodha ahankara nibaro tau sabe disantara kaya. So you need not travel as a yogi. You may get tempted to travel from one place to another place. So you need not travel. The journey has to be inner journey. And when you do that inner journey with firmness of your resolve, then everything which you want to witness, you witness or experience through inner journey itself. So you need not travel your body from one place to another place. You did not travel, make your body travel, but make the journey as an inner journey. That's the powerful message he gives. And how do you do that? Kama krodha ahankara nibaro te sabe disantara kaya. So you have to keep your mind stable. Get rid of anger, ego, sexual desire. And getting rid of these itself is the inner journey. And when you do that, then this is the transformation. You experience the transformation, and that itself is the travel. That itself is the journey, which is a yogic journey. Another beautiful couplet which I like is Saram Saram Gahara Gambhiram Gagana Uchaliyanadam Manikapaya Feri Lukaya Jhuta Bad Bibad. Saram Saram Gahara Gambhiram. Again he is talking of spiritual practice. So through the spiritual practice, what you have to do is you have to take the vital energy to the Agya Chakra. This is what we do in yogic kriya yoga, or any yoga. So you have to ensure the upward journey of the pran. Like Kabir says, Moola kamala dridhasana banduri, ulati pavana chadhavu. So you have to lift the pran up. Ulti pavan. The normal tendency of the breath or the air is to go inside, downside. But the yogic kriya is you have to direct it in a way that it lifts the energy up, and by awakening all the chakras, it reaches the Sahasrara chakra. That is the technique. So Gorakh Nath says, Saramasaram Gahara Gambiram Gagana Uchaliyanadam. So this experience of taking the pran to the Agya chakra is the ultimate experience for a yogi. That is his wealth, that is his treasure. And he says, Manik paya feri lukaya. Manik is ruby. So through this experience, what you have got is you have got that priceless ruby. That priceless ruby of merging with the Supreme Being, Universal Being. How? By lifting the pran, the vital energy up from the Mooladhar to the Agya chakra, to the Sahasrara chakra. By doing that, what you do is you own this priceless treasure in the form of the ruby. That experience is like a priceless ruby. And when you get that, the beauty is the world around you is not aware that you have that with you. When you have some possession of wealth, by some or other means, the world around knows about it. But in this case, in the yogic journey, when you get this priceless wealth with you in this form of lifting your pran to the Sahasrara, then the world doesn't know. So you have the priceless wealth with you, and still you only know it. So there is no fear of theft. There is no fear of theft. Such beautiful treasure you get. And when you do that, then he says, Feri lukaya, the world doesn't know it. Jhuta bad abhibad. Then there is no need of going into multiple techniques, theories, what is real technique to see God, experience God. There is no need to go into it, because you already have achieved what you have to achieve. How you have achieved? You have achieved through this yogic practice of lifting the pran up. So when you do that, then there is no point in going into the controversy or knowing about multiple techniques and theories or reading the scriptures and getting knowledge from that. Not at all required. So it is simple. Just know how to lift your pran up, and that itself, and know how to settle that pran in the Sahasrara chakra or Murdhna, and then you know everything. You receive you experience the God. Hasiba kheliba dhariba dhyanam ahanishi kathiba brahma gyanam hase khele na kare manabhang te niha chala sada nath ke sang. Haso khelo, be happy. That is the message. Be playful, be happy. And that itself is a journey to the divine. Hasiba kheliba dhariba dhyan. Be happy, be playful, and meditate. Ahanishi kathiba brahma gyanam. Constantly contemplate on the divine. Brahma gyanam. About that ultimate power, ultimate energy. Hase khele na kare manbhang. He stresses of being joyful, being playful, being happy. He again says, Hase khele na kare manabhang. So be joyful, be happy. Te niha chala sada nath ke sang. And then you are stable. You are constantly with the Nath, with the God. So the simple message is be happy. So the God lies in happiness. God lies in happiness, being joyous, joyful. As I said, he gives a very clear message to the practicing yogis. Now, these simple techniques, of course, are for those who understand and who can follow this thing and who gradually evolve in their journey. But when you are leading a fleet of yogis, army of yogis, as I said, Gorakh Nath has a very strong tradition, and this tradition has kept not only the yogic tradition alive, but it has added multiple beautiful techniques to it. And in that, the major contribution, most important contribution, is from Gorakh Nath. Then he even gives you the simple techniques also, how to lead life when you are leading the yogic journey. He says, Habakina boliba, Tabakina chaliba, Dhire dhariba pav. So when you are speaking, be slow, be steady. Habakina boliba, Tabakina chaliba. When you are walking, be steady. So be steady is the message when you are talking, walking. Dhira dhariba pav. And when you put your steps should be very careful, steady. Again, garabana kariba, sahajay rahiba. Don't be arrogant, don't be egoistic. Garabana kariba. So be away from ego, do away from ego. Sahajay rahiba, and flow, simply flow. Bhanat Gorasharao. This is the message Gorakh Nath says. So how simple message this is. Be steady in whatever you do, whatever you speak, whatever actions you do, be steady in that. So this is the outer being. In all your outer existential experience, be steady, be composed. And in your inner journey, be away from ego. Sahajay rahiba, flow smooth. And this is the message from Gorakh Nath. Bhanat Gorasharao. Beautiful. Again, he says, Ati ahar yandra bala kare. Ati ahar yandra bala kare. Nase gyan maithuna chit dhare. Vyapay nandra jhampe kal. Take hriday sada janjal. This is very beautiful. Ati ahar yandra bala kare. Nase gyan maithuna chit dhare. Vyapay nandra jhampe kal. Take hriday sada janjal. Ati ahar, eating more. So control your eating habits. Don't eat more. Ati ahar, don't eat more. Just because it is tasty, just because you like it, don't eat more. Why? It gives strength to all your parts of body, and it makes you strong. Not your mind, but the physical parts of body. And that takes you away from knowledge, and it engages your mind in desires, sexual desires. So just one habit of eating more takes you away from knowledge, and it makes you more desirous. So he says, don't do that. It makes you feel sleepy always. Vyape nandra. It makes you feel sleepy. Jhampe kal. Kal is always getting hold of you. So you are victim of kal because you are sleeping more. And when this happens, then ताके हृदय सदा जंजाल. You are always confused then. So just one habit of eating more, what all bad things it does to you. It takes you away from Gyan, it makes you desirous, it makes you victim of sleep. Control your eating habits. And there is one more couplet which is about food habit again. He says, Avadhu ahara todo nidra modo kabahu na hoiga rogi. Avadhu ahara todo nidra modo kabahu na hoiga rogi. छठे क्षमा से काया पलटिबा क्यों को बिरला बिजोगी. Again, he says that control your food habits, control your eating, have a control over your food. Nidra modo, don't sleep more. Sleep as much is required, don't sleep more. If you follow these two suggestions, then kabahu na hoiga rogi. You will always be healthy. You will never fall victim to any disease. छठे क्षमा से काया पलटिबा क्योंको बिरला बिजोगी. Every 6 months, go into the practice of Kaya Kalp through the yogic techniques, and this is known only to special experienced yogis, not to everybody. So the basic thing is have control over food and sleep. If you have proper control over your food and sleep, then you will never be a victim to any diseases. And then every 6 months you should revitalize your body through the yogic kriyas, which are known to very experienced, rarest of rare yogis. This is the message. As I said, Gorakh has always used the symbolism of earthen pot for human body, and most of us sitting here, those who have witnessed any cremation of a human body, you have seen that a person symbolically walks around the body with a earthen pot with a hole from where the water is dropping. So that's the symbolism. Your life is like this, the earthen pot filled with water, and constantly the water is going away, and one day it will go dry. So this is our body. The pran one day will go away, and the body is like a empty earthen pot, useless. That's the symbolism. And Gorakh, Kabir, and whole this tradition of Nirgun, it uses this symbolism while explaining human body. Ghat is the earthen pot. घटी घटी गोरख बाही क्यारी जो निपजय सो होई हमारी. घटी घटी गोरख कहे कहानी कांचे भांडे रहे न पानी. So he says that Gorakh is in every ghat. That is the yogi. Every single body is a body of a yogi. जो निपजे सो होई हमारी. घटी घटी गोरश कहे कहानी कांचे भांडे रहे न पानी. But he says that in every body there is a yogi, but this yogi can be experienced only by the pot which is strong enough, that can hold water. The one which is not strong enough, that will not be capable of holding the water, and that won't be called as a body of a yogi, which cannot give pratishtha to the pran. That that comfort to the pran, the life force in the body, then that body is useless. So he says, Gati Gati Gorakh Bahi, that is, everybody has, everybody body is the body of a yogi. And the last one, which I am going to share with you, Maro vai jogi maro marana hai meetha. Maro vai jogi maro marana hai meetha. Tis marani maro jis marani gorakh mashiditha. So he is asking a yogi to die. Maro vai jogi maro marana hai meetha. Die, O yogi, die. What kind of message this is? that the Guru is suggesting a yogi to die. Normally, we go to a Guru to ask how to live nice and some tips from him. We go to him for that. And here he is suggesting, die, O yogi. And not only that, he says that marana hai meetha. It's sweet. Death is sweet. Maro vai jogi maro marana hai meetha. Usa marani maro jis marani gorakh mashiditha. Yes. But what type of death it is, that is important to know. It's not a bodily death. It's not the death of a body which is made of these 5 elements. It's the death of inner problems in the form of ego, in the form of desire, in the form of anger. So all these inner issues, problems, get away from that. Then the body is purest body to experience. So you are dead for yourself. You don't have any desire. You don't have any ego. You don't have any feeling of competition. You don't have any feeling of revenge, anger. So you are the purest form of body. So maro vai jogi maro. This is the death. And this death is sweet. This death is beautiful.